Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel, and in this video we'll know that what is HTTP code. Okay, because this code is very important to know. If you are working with any API, or if you are working any with any building any website, so this code is very important to know this, because this code tell you the what response you get from the server. Okay, when you fetch data from server, what response you get, like it is successfully update your request, or it's getting something wrong happen in the server. Okay, so you know this with the help of this HTTP request code. So HTTP request code is very simple, because it's like a, if you thought that, if you see the restaurant analogy, what is happen when you go restaurant and you place your order, and the waiter tell you that waiter go to the kitchen and tell you that here is the food, enjoy your food, and if the food is not available, they say this, sorry, the dish of out the we are out of dish, like this. So HTTP codes are same like this. Okay, it message from the server, it's like a waiter message from the waiter. Okay, this is called HTTP code. So there is a five type of HTTP codes: 500, 100, 200, and 300, and 400 and 500 range. There is a 5 range in HTTP codes. So first HTTP code is between 100 to 199. These codes indicate that the server has received the request and is continuing the process. Means you just hit the server and they process your request. It will take time. They tell you that it will take time to process your request. It's a mm, heavy request. So please wait for a minute. So that time they tell you the one. They tell you the response code 100 to 199. The server has received the request, and the client should continue with the request. It's mean 100 and 101 switching protocols. The server is switching protocols as requested by the client. Okay, and 200 is successful responses. This response is very useful, because after getting this code, you will know that your request is being successful. Okay, the range is 200 to 209. 209. The the request was successful. The server has returned the requested data. It's when you fetch the data and they tell you that the request was successful and the server has returned the requested data. And 201 created, this request was successful and a new resource has been created, typically is a response to a post request. Okay, means 200 means the request, because you are trying to fetch data from server through API, and you getting a response that 200. Okay, means it's the request is successful. Okay, server can return some data what you request for. At 201 created means created, the request was successful, that a new resource has been created, means you post request, you send a post request, created something in the server, that time it will show you that 201. And 204, no content, the request was successful but there is no content to return. It's like delete, you delete the data or put the data, update the data, so there is no content, there is no things to return to you. So that time it will show you 204, no content. And that number 3, these codes are indicate 300 range, that these codes indicate that the client must take additional action to complete the request, like following a redirect. Its range is 300 to 399. 301 move permanently. The resource has been permanently moved to a new location. It means that you hit one URL, but that URL doesn't exist right now. Means just change something in the URL. So that time shows the 301, because the resource has been moved elsewhere, somewhere. Okay, it's like 3024 found. The resource is temporarily located elsewhere. It's meaning the same. Range is more or less same. Okay, messages are more or less same when you specify some one range like 300, 200, 400. Okay. 304 is not modified. The resource has not been modified since the last request. Okay. The resource has not been modified. The request not modified. There's not modified version. Okay. That time is showing 304. Uh, 400 client error. These codes indicate that the client has made an error in the request. These codes indicate that the client has made an error in the request. It is a client side error. Like if you are a client and you hit the server through fetch the data through API. So if you do something wrong in your code or in your URL, that time you will get this error. This is very important. If you are fetching data from URL and your client, so you should this response code. You should this response code. 200 bad request. The server cannot process this request due to invalid syntax. Okay. Server cannot process the request due to invalid syntax. 401 unauthorized. The request requires authentication or authentication failed. Okay. Because you fetch the data, but you are paid member to fetch in a API. You paid subscription, but you write something wrong in the authentication process, or do something wrong in the authentication, the queue token you get to fetch the data. That time you will get the 401 unauthorized. 403 forbidden. The client does not have the permission to access the request read. Means you don't have the permission. The server don't give the permission to fetch the data. That time you will get the 404 forbidden. 404 not found. The resource cannot be found on the server. What you searching for? Maybe you are giving some wrong information in the endpoint or path query, path parameter. So that time you will get the requested resource. That time the client does not permission to and the resource could not be found on the server. Okay, that time you will get the data. So this is how the response code is working on. And the 408 request timeout. The client's request timeout before the server could respond. Okay. And 50500 server error. These codes indicate that the server has encountered an error or is otherwise incapable of performing the request. This from server side. You cannot do something in this case. It's a server side error. Okay. 50 internal server error. It's a generic error when a server encounters an unexpected condition. Okay, you will get this type of error when you fetch any when you go for any server website. That time you will get 50 type of error. In generic error, the server cannot control an unexpected condition. 502 get bad gateway. The server receive an invalid response from an unstreamed server. Invalid response, you will get the invalid response from the server. 503 server is temporarily down means down. Server is temporarily unable to handle the request because due to overload. Because it's like a IRCTC app. When you try to book a ticket in the time of Tatkal time, so you will get that type of response code 503. The server is very load because very lots of customer, lots of passenger hit the server to book the ticket. 504 gateway timeout. The server did not receive a timely response from an unstreamed server. Gateway time because it will take too much time to respond. That time it will save the timeout. Okay, this is how, and this is the code. You can fetch the data from server. You can get the response code like okay, it's equal to 200. Request is successful. 400 for request resource not found, and 50 server error. Please try again later. 500 means is getting some error from the server. It's server problem, not your problem. 400 means client problem. this is the if you fetch data from URL through API, so it is your side error, and 200 means it will successful. Here is the code. I written the code. I paste a import request. You will very simple to fetch the data from URL through API. You have to just import the request module. This is the request module, and this is the URL API URL, free API URL. And if I run this code, you will see the just response is response in get, and request to dot get. You have to pass the URL, and you run this code. Success means it's successful, because this 21200 response is successful. That time it will get the success message. So this is how you will perform the use the code. Okay, if you like this particular video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you have any query, please write in the comment section. I will help you out. Thank you guys.